anyways.
We're gonna start selling squat plug souvenirs.
You have some nice moldings in this house.
These are very nice moldings. And welcome to the Squat Plug, episode 18. Not to be confused with...
Don't do that again. Don't do that again.
Mateo asked us not to do the... Not to be
This
confused
is the fourth
with
time we
episode
start.
17.
This is the
I don't
fourth
want
time we
anybody
started the
confused with episode
introduction.
20. You know,
Yeah.
just saying.
We're episode 12.
All right, now this is even
Silly
more
geese.
over the top.
Exactly. So let's restart.
Silly
No,
geese.
we're definitely not restarting this.
Okay,
This
we're
is
not
a good
restarting.
one.
Going.
Let's
I
run
like
it.
this.
We are silly geese, though.
This is the better start.
The better.
Welcome to the squat.
The better pod. No, wait. There's already one named like that.
All right, so what are we talking about today, boys?
Today we're talking about meat stuff.
Meat stuff.
Squat
Not to
plug.
be confused with
Meat
meat
stuff.
Meat stuff. Steaks and things. No, so we are going to talk about competition day stuff,
AKA meat day stuff.
aka meat day stuff.
AKA
So like,
butt plug stuff.
aka
Squat plug stuff.
whoa,
But-
hey,
whoa,
now.
Do you
hey,
use
now,
your squat
pause.
plug on meat day?
I reserve it for meat day because
Yeah.
I get at least 25 kilos out of it. So
If you wear it year
It
round,
hasn't worked out very well for you, has it?
what
squeeze the juice out of it or something.
do you mean? That's why I squatted 550. I'm gonna squat 573 in March.
Okay,
plug.
I want to see that.
That's the goal.
Gleason meat?
Enhances internal abdominal pressure.
At the CT States.
Are you ever going to do another meat besides the Gleason meats?
Perhaps. What did you say? I like competing at Gleason's.
No, it's fun.
You know, like I know everybody there.
You remind me of this one lifter that only does Gleason meats. But
I
their
mean,
dots a lot higher than yours.
well,
So.
when I lived in Massachusetts, I never did I don't think I ever competed at the same place twice. Actually, that's wrong. I've competed at
Honestly, Gleason's is a very well run meat.
Yeah,
It is. It is. It's just it's super convenient, you know. And
That's all you need.
honestly,
It's
have
convenient,
like
it's fun.
in the last
the free ones.
the last meet I did there, he waived the fee because I spotted and loaded a meet, and it was super hot and humid in the gym. It was like in August or something, and I did both sessions, and he was like, I was dead by the end of the day. He's like, next meet's on me, and I was like, sick. I'll do the next one then.
It's good.
And I was just like,
Fine.
yeah. So I don't know.
I have a
It's
question
fun to
about
do it there.
them.
Go
Do
ahead.
you know what's going on with the gym itself? Are they going to relocate or whatever?
Last I spoke to them, that's in the works.
Probably not.
Oh, yes, you work things out with the owner?
I don't know.
Is he
To be
gonna bite
honest
the
with you,
bullet?
Huh?
Is he going to bite the bullet?
I don't know. Like he's talked to me about it, and he's looked at some other places, but
Yeah.
I know he does have a relationship with the current landlord, and I don't know. That's his business. And
Yeah. He
I
should.
don't know. I don't really know
You,
what's
you know what the
gonna
problem is? He didn't tip him enough.
happen. You got to tip your
You gotta tip your
landlord.
landlords.
You
You
got it.
gotta.
You gotta cultivate more uncles.
Anyways,
Rookie
Anyways.
mistake.
do we start this off?
Okay, so we're talking about meat day
Stuff
stuff.
or pre-meat stuff,
Pre-meat
such as water cutting,
Gut cutting,
gut cutting,
all that stuff.
butt
Yeah.
stuff. No.
Squat plug stuff. Okay.
I mean, personally, I don't really use many. I'm not big on like water cutting, things like that. I just feel it goes either way.
I don't think water cutting goes either way. I think water cutting goes the wrong way.
Well, yeah, that's essentially what I mean. It's just like there's a very small percentage or very small chance that it's gonna work out, but it rarely does.
So you can make it work out, but the thing is, so it working
Well,
out
that's what we're gonna talk about.
and it being the ideal. I don't think they're the same thing.
That's fair.
Being optimal.
Well, my question is this: does it really work out though? Because what if you did the exact same prep with you had two people, right? One did a workout, one didn't, and they had specific number projected to hit in comp.
Mhm.
Do you think both they would hit? Let me cut this
Well, it
out.
depends on how the person responds to
Wait.
the water cut.
No, I get what you're saying. So basically, would in other words, would the one person who did a water cut, the person who didn't do water cut have the same kind of performance, and whatnot? No, it would be different. The person who didn't do the water cut would have a better performance. The question comes down to
I don't know if you could say that definitively, though.
Well, pretty definitively. I mean, the what research I've read that's talked about that's done research on this topic has talked about, has essentially pointed out that water cuts are catabolic indeed.
I agree with you. It's such a common practice. You would think that if 10 times out of 10 people performed worse when doing a water cut, it wouldn't continue to be such.
But you don't know how they would perform if it didn't work.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like higher level people who continue to do these water cuts.
You don't develop a water cut conditioning. It's not like I've done a water cut 40 times. It's going to make it this much easier for me this time. It's going to not cut.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are people who use water cuts for, like if, people who do there are people who do national meets or world meets every year.
So this is
who do water cuts.
So I think this is what it ties into. Why a water cut is actually anabolic.
I was literally anti-water cut when we started this conversation. Now I'm defending it somehow.
I like it. Please. We need a devil's advocate. We need it. This is good. So now how it can be anabolic towards a performance is because if you're dealing with a typical meet, or basically you have to be within a weight class, if you don't do the water cut, or if you find yourself essentially not cutting
sorry, no, continue.
Bro, it's fucking out here.
The sound from that foam was like,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Continue. Okay. This is very odd.
So you get distracted really easily.
I do get I'm lost my train of thought. So either way, so how it can be anabolic and whatnot is because you want to stay within that weight class. You're going to perform, do your thing, and maybe you can take a little bit of a crush in performance when it comes down to that, but you still stay within that weight class.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself competing out there. Your total, though it may not be as high as it would have been if you moved up a weight class, is still higher than people you're competing against. This is the aim here. Yeah. I think in an instance where water cuts are absolutely not or harebrained, when it shouldn't be happening, and when a cut itself shouldn't happen, the person should be moving into, growing into the next weight class, or maybe allowing things to kind of develop as far as a meet on the horizon is concerned, is a DOTS meet. If you're doing a cut for a DOTS meet, like some of these what we call primetime meets, that kind of stuff, you have no idea what you're doing. It's about performing the best DOTS. So you can have a high DOTS, which we'll call it, at a regular typical meet. We have weight classes, but the total is going to be less than your competition. So if you weigh 242.5 pounds, 243 pounds, and you're going against somebody who weighs 275.5 pounds, your DOTS may well be quite higher than them.
That actually happened to Soph at the Arnold.
Yeah.
With that girl, Renee Brown.
Yeah.
So she's like a 47. Soph outtold her by like 100 kilos, but she outdot Soph by like 50 points.
Yeah.
She dot 600, and Soph was like 550 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Soph outtold her by like 100 kilos.
I mean, yes. she is 50% lighter than Soph, so.
I know that.
So it makes sense.
Even within weight classes, that's what happens. So for example, let's just say me and Mateo competing at nationals, which is it's a weight class and a total meet. And Mateo, who's a very light 275 pounder, competes against me, and he has I want to say maybe close to 500 dots. If I hit still something like a 480 dots, but I out total him, I win. Dots doesn't matter there. So water cuts.
That's right. There's no dots in the jungle, baby.
So water cuts are important for that purpose there, because basically as they keep you within that weight class, and despite the fact you have an overall performance crunch, you still basically find yourself maintaining within that weight class, and presumably, beating whoever you're going up against. How they're catabolic is by doing that water cut itself. Your body, there's some processes that take place, and they enhance fatigue like crazy. So you find yourself out there and whatnot, on meet day, and your openers feel that much heavier.
Yep.
Your third attempts may not be made.
Yeah, that's generally what you see.
And that's generally what you see.
Yeah, they walk out that first squat, and you're like, oh, this is not going to go well.
So what else ties into with the water cut? And not to nocebo people, because there's some people basically who go through the process unbothered.
Are you saying there's some people who respond favorably?
So, but it's not genetic. It's nurture, not nature.
It's whatever.
So anyway, some people though, just the thought of having to do water cut itself can increase and enhance their anxiety, which may be tying into why fatigue is a little bit higher. If you're stressed out, your fatigue is going to be high.
Yeah.
And if you're really worried about your water, your body weight, your stress is going to be very high. So high you may not even sleep the night before.
Yeah.
So this is basically it's a multifaceted.
I mean, I rarely sleep the night before meets. I don't sleep well, anyways.
So I would not advise people who are novices in the sport, and even intermediates in the sport, to honestly consider doing water cuts, or to be honest, 2 cuts period. To be honest, just
I was gonna ask, how do you feel about gut cuts as an alternative?
So gut cut may actually be a productive alternative. It may be a productive alternative, and so people like to complicate and say this is what's happening here. It's because these mystical, like these magical foods here.
Well, for the listeners, what's a gut cut?
So a gut cut basically is when you eat a calorically rich food or foods which do not weigh much. Something which basically has a shit ton of calories in it, but that doesn't cause your body weight to go up.
Butter.
Like, for example, relative to maybe what you eat normally. So if you're used to eating like a sandwich or something like that with a lot of bread and that kind of stuff, maybe you eat a small piece of steak, which has the same amount of calories, instead of that. And so you actually cut down the weight that you actually consumed, like relative to your typical diet. So maybe you're losing a pound a day because of that. That's the premise itself.
Mm-hmm.
My question with that is, when it comes to those high calorie meals, they tend to be very heavy on the fats. Not as heavy on carbohydrates. Out of the 3 macros, when it comes down to meat day performance, the most anabolic of the macros is carbohydrates. Glycolytic actions, they work on glycogen.
Mm-hmm.
Glycogen doesn't really come out of fats unless you go ketogenic and that kind of stuff. That's a whole other, can of worms altogether.
Go ketosis on meat day.
And even if you do, that is catabolic.
That's definitely catabolic. I've reached the state of ketosis.
Okay, but
I've reached peak ketosis.
Smell my breath.
Maybe that's why people do it with ice cream then, because it has a lot of fats, but it also has carbs.
I generally don't like deviating. When it comes to meat, like food for meat day, I generally don't like deviating from what I would normally eat. Like that could go either way too for people. It's like, eat this thing that that you typically don't eat.
We'll talk about on meat day versus pre-meat.
I'm talking about the gut cut. People tend to do gut cut with ice cream.
Yes. So you can do it, and it works. There are more carbs there. In fact, there are actually carbs there compared to just eating steak. Eating steak is you have basically two macros there. You have fat. You have protein. You do not have carbs in steak. Meat does not have carbs by default. Look at chicken. You're eating chicken. There's a shit ton of protein, a little bit of fat. There is no carbohydrate there. People there are no carbohydrates there. Back in the days, like in 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, when people traveling through with ships and whatnot, it's something called rabbit starvation. Now, people basically were eating food, whatever. They had ample calories and whatnot. The lack of carbohydrates actually caused them to have issues.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you need to have carbohydrates in your diet. You can't just have a pure protein diet or like something of that nature. So to perform properly, we need to have glycogen. How people like the carb load and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of truth to that.
Okay, let me ask you this: how would you feel if somebody tried to do quote unquote gut cut with juice?
It would be counterproductive, because to hit the same amount of calories with the juice versus something that is more calorically rich with fat and so on and so forth, you'd have to basically cross that threshold and eat that much more of it, undermining the whole point of it. So the gut cut, you want to eat something, you want to eat a little something which has a whole lot of punch to it. Yeah,
but it's at the end of the day, it's water weight. You could do a water cut with juice.
It's water weight, but if your body absorbs that water.
Yeah.
If you retain it, which is typically what happens when you find yourself starving yourself or depleting water and so on and so forth. Your body notices that. It starts to absorb these calories. It starts to absorb, hold on to water a lot more. So it works against what we're trying to do here.
Honestly, during meat week is the whole week I find it harder to eat anyways. So my normal eating patterns are already altered to some degree. And I don't know. I find it interesting that people go to such great lengths to just, I don't know. It's just all the gut cutting, the water cutting. It's just all it's wild to me. I don't know. I would recommend you just live in the class and not have to completely fuck with your diet the week before meet. Or fuck with your weight the week before meet. Your goal is the highest peak performance you could possibly have. Yes. And you want to manipulate all these variables that are going to influence performance on meet day. And potentially in a negative way that it's what's the cost benefit here? What are you? Yeah, exactly. You could potentially be giving up a lot of numbers off your total for I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. You know? Just like
so when I find a lifter, even very competitive lifter, confronts themselves with water cut after water cut, meet after meet, and finally have to basically to fine tune things like down to the nitty gritty prior to meat performance. And we have issues like sleep deprivation. We have issues like enhanced stress. We have issues like having to do meat day, water loss protocols and whatnot.
It's like meat day's already stressful enough, guy.
That's
like, what the hell?
When you have repeated bouts of that, it tells you the writing's on the wall. This person has outgrown the weight class.
Yeah.
Unless you're looking at world records, unless you this is something you're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. I would say it wouldn't work out. Like even if you're really good, even if you have over 500 point dots, and you find yourself confronted with that limit over and over and over again, you're curtailing and you're shortchanging your progress overall.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding yourself back. Your body's telling you, I'm not fit for this class. Let's move on to the next class. You know?
Yeah. Okay, but even if, or at least just try to maintain your body weight throughout the year instead of
and you should,
because even those people that you said the 1% of the 1% that they do water cuts. So they have a lot higher numbers in training, and then they just end up hitting
So, but let's talk about this though. So you have these people, for example, who choose to elect to not stay within that weight class during the course of the year. Being heavier is anabolic. It allows you to grow into new territories, right? And you get that much stronger. So if you can add 100 pounds to your total in training, and you take a water cut, and maybe all you get is 20 pounds on meat day, it's still better than last meet, correct?
But yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of living slightly heavier than the class and cutting down to do a meet. But if you're a 110, 242 pound lifter and you sit around 245, 246, sure, you could go 3 months out. You're okay. I'm going to cut 3 pounds now. That's what I typically would do.
I do the same thing myself.
Yeah, it's I'm not going to do it the week before. I'm going to do it 12 weeks out.
Yeah, you can
do a small caloric deficit for a couple weeks. You'll be down. Then you hit some maintenance. Then you can even eat a small surplus into the meat.
Yes.
It's I would rather do it that way than try to manipulate my body weight.
So those pounds are also relative to body weight. So 5 pounds for somebody who weighs 275 pounds
is a lot different than someone who weighs 181
or 148 pounds.
Or correct.
Which I've experienced, I've dealt with.
But if you're a 148 pound lifter, you want to live at 150 pounds.
I would actually say maybe add 148 to be honest. But the percentage, I guess a stress there and whatnot. The percentage of 1 second. The body weight percentage and whatnot there, I guess, kind of plays a bigger role. And you're also looking at people who, typically speaking, when they're in their weight class, these weight classes, they're lean to begin with.
Yeah.
You don't really see fat 148 pounders.
Yeah.
I have a lifter who just lost, Louise. He just lost 20. He went from 194 to 175.
Wow.
And it's funny because I feel like sometimes lifters will do that and not really tell you until they've already lost a considerable amount of weight. It was interesting because he never really hit a wall in training until he actually was hitting PRs in his bench. He fucked up his shoulder, but squat and deadlift he hit multiple PRs as he was losing weight. But once he hit 175, it was just everything started to go downhill. And he was shooting for the 75 class because he was 50 pounds away from the qualifying total. And we're we're pretty close in body weight. If you feel like you could sustain a caloric deficit for another 10 pounds, let's try it. But it went horribly, definitely backfired. And I was immediately, you know what? 75 is not for you. At least 82 and a half for now, but bump the calories up massively and let's see how you respond. And immediately we saw a boost in everything.
Of course.
Immediately saw a boost in everything. And I was yep, okay. I was yep, okay, done with the cut.
Yeah.
Because it could have such a massive impact.
It's good until it isn't.
It's good, yeah. It's good until it isn't, exactly. Especially if you already sit. And my point was, or the point I was trying to make was that's a 10%.
Yeah. That's a huge
10% of his body weight, right? So the fact that he held on, he hit a 25 kilo total PR at the meet, which is pretty
really? Yeah.
Wow.
In a lower weight class?
Yeah, he lost 20 pounds. He had a
Good for
25
him.
kilo total.
He must have some very solid training sessions in that case. It's good.
He did. He
That's
did. He
impressive.
put some really good training together. And
He was 10% body weight at 25
Yeah,
kg to your toe.
yeah.
That's insane.
yeah.
Oh.
It's a lot of dots points.
It is.
He did.
Das is
He-
going
he-
like 18 hours.
Yeah, but anyways,
So many red upward crabs.
You gotta stop doing the ASMR shit.
So this whole mic setup over here really has me, prone to doing this.
he feels
I'm,
like
I'm a big fan
he really
of it.
feels like such a podcast bro over there
Yeah.
right now.
Yes, I do.
Tip your landlord.
Cultivate your uncles. So yeah, so that kind of stuff. So I'd say if you're not at that point, if you are not the top dog, if you're not going to be winning some money at this meet, and you're a person who is stressed out when cutting, if you're a person who does have sleep issues, a person who does have fatigue issues, making a cut is not the move for you. You need to consider moving up the weight class, staying where you actually are at. There's so many different things that go into, I guess, like getting ready for meet day, for meet prep.
Speaking of
Yeah.
money meets, I heard you dropped out of your money meet that you signed up for.
No, incorrect.
Incorrect?
No, I'm still doing it.
I don't even know.
Oh, you're doing both. Yes.
Yeah.
Seems
both.
so
Never mind,
irrelevant to
I
the
apologize.
conversation.
So I initially, because I thought that I was not going to be making it to the Arnolds, I signed up for New York State Primetime.
Are you cutting for this or something? What are we talking about?
No. He was talking about money meets. I was like, it just.
I know.
Ding.
And then I got an email telling me that essentially I made it to the Arnolds, and I thought that I didn't make it, and I got an email telling me that I did make it. So I signed up. I ended up signing up for the Arnolds, and I have New York State Primetime as well, which is in May. So I'm gonna do the Arnolds in March. And I'll do New York State Primetime in May, presumably
I
right
got
now. See
invited
what
to the
happens.
bench bash.
Bench bash.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I
You should have signed up for it.
And then I have nationals in September, so it's gonna be a busy calendar year, and then Olympia in November.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
How does James feel about you doing like 5 meets in like 6 months?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't.
James has no say in the matter.
No, James hasn't seen the matter. I don't think he's gonna process the fact that I'm still doing New York State Primetime, while also doing the Arnolds.
He doesn't want to be in the crack dens of Buffalo. That's why.
Yes, he does not. Well, he actually, we discussed this, and he didn't really mind. It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's my guy.
Fair enough.
My little Jamesy, my panda.
Speaking of the Arnold, are you gonna be at the Arnold, Mark?
Yes.
Are you gonna be handling Soph? Actually, no. Have you ever handled Soph?
I help out
Yeah.
because a quip lifter is gonna have 2 handlers, so I usually just
Mark-
load plates.
Is it true you handled D last year?
Who?
D is nuts.
That's crazy.
He got me. He asked me with such a serious look on his face. I was like, caught me off guard.
Sorry,
I was
I
like,
had
who? What?
But yeah, so I'm still doing New York State Primetime. I'm also doing the Arnold. At least that's the plan going forward right now. I'm under a whole lot of stress right now. Work has been incredibly busy. I'm hurting right now. Last night was fucking rough. So,
Do you have any horror stories for us from
Oh,
work?
oh God.
Just give me one from yesterday. Just
Okay. All right. So last night we got a call for fire, and we show up there, whatever. Walk up X amount of stories with like 150 pounds of gear, that kind of shit. And roll up to the person's apartment now because there's nothing showing the outside. There's no smoke, no fire blowing out the windows. Make our way up the stairs, whatever. We get to the fire floor itself, and I have the roof. So I have the KO curtain on me. I have my Halligan, the Halligan hook. I have the bunny tool. I have my mask on. I have my, like the whole outfit. It's about 150 pounds. And
you got your midday gear on.
It's like at 3:00 in the morning. And we're there for a call for fire. They get into the apartment, the inside team, and it's a fucking steam leak. He had some steam coming out of a riser in his project apartment. So we get that at 3:00 in the morning, whatnot. Just there was that, and I want to say another dozen runs or so after midnight. We're basically just absolute nuisance bullshit calls.
Nice.
So I'm fucking hurting right now.
I got injured in my sleep somehow.
He doesn't get any sleep, so he doesn't know about that.
Oh man! So I did that. I finished the tour, and it's morning time, and we go over to the to the storage facility, get the combo rack out there, and fucking send it out to the firehouse gym, and we have to now drop it down like a fucking chute, push it through like it's the ghost combo. Right?
Combo rack Mujaj.
Combo. I have a plethora of combo racks.
Yes, you do.
I hope my code just like it's fucking like Rogue. Lego.
It's filled with combo racks.
What can I get you?
Would you like Ylli? Would you like a ghost? What murder? I got the rogue up here.
But that kind of shit though, so a bit rough. So I have to consider these things going into that. So back to meat day itself. We talked about
way off.
It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
People enjoy that, right?
I think so.
I hope so.
Same.
So
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So we talked about meat day itself, riveting stories of steam lakes. We talked about gut cuts. We talked about water cuts.
Let's talk about refeed.
Let's talk about refeed. Yeah, the opposite spectrum. So now you found yourself on meat day. You met with body weight. You're there. It's the weigh-ins are done and shit like that. It's time for you to get ready for meat day. What do we need to eat here?
Hold on.
Okay.
Are we talking in the context of a 24-hour weigh-in here?
We could talk about both.
Or a 2-hour weigh-in, excuse me?
We should talk about both.
We could talk about both.
Both? Yeah, because it's going to matter, right?
Both of these nuts.
Okay, we laughed once. We're not going to laugh again.
No, but it's going to matter, right? Because if you do a 2-hour weigh-in, you have a 2-hour window where you have to weigh in, eat, and warm up until your first lift.
But honestly, if I'm going to be perfectly frank over here, the difference between, I guess, like the diet a person consumes on both those days is more or less the same. You know, it's just that you have 24 hours to basically to consume.
Are you sure about that? Because I've seen a lot of people who do 24-hour weigh-ins. They just go crazy.
So you can go crazy.
Well, that depends on if you do a cut.
You
prior,
can.
If you did 24-hour weigh-in,
so
you can do a cut.
So when you go crazy, you can have what you call like fats, and you can have like a shit ton of protein, all that kind of stuff. But what happens is
I generally feel like shit when if I eat a ton of food one day, like way more than normally, I generally feel terrible the next day.
So
I don't feel better.
You may, some people may not, but now they think that whole engorging themselves is anabolic. It may be to an extent if it enhances your body weight and so on and so forth. So basically, find yourself walking around a little bit heavy, but for actual,
if I poop myself while I'm squatting, it's not
anabolic.
Squat plug.
It's not anabolic.
Squat plug.
Yeah, the squat plug. No, it pops right out. Try it.
This man is operating under pressure.
You might need the 12-inch one.
Pushes it right out.
So, if it makes you heavier, you're fine. But from actually, I guess, like a macro that actually helps you directly, out of the three of them, again, protein, fat, and carbohydrates, only one of them is actually beneficial.
Protein. No, I'm kidding. Carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates, glycolytic action. That's what allows you guys to do what you need to do. It allows for you to recover between bouts. What's
your body's preferred source of energy?
Carbohydrates.
Correct.
Glucose.
That's what I said.
What's your preferred type of carbohydrates?
Pizza. Meat's pizza, honestly. I
on meat day?
Pizza. On meat day, yeah.
It's a lot of fat.
I mean, I have done it too.
So
I'm not sure we talking.
So wait
a second here. Let me explain what's going on here, buddy. All right. So for me, basically, what I tied off to what happened during my longer SPD days that have been successful. We have our pre-SPD day pizza, correct?
Yes.
And then I have like a slice in between squat and bench. And then
honestly, if I'm hungry,
you know what when
I finish off the pizza.
You know when you should have
what's not anabolic?
What's not anabolic?
Olympia
nuts?
crepes.
These nuts? Okay, I thought you were going to say
Olympia
these nuts
crepes. Death crepes. Apparently not anabolic because I found myself.
The Olympia crepes.
Bro, I was looking photos of myself in fucking Olympia. Holy shit, I look like a fucking train wreck. I look like a train wreck to begin with, but
I called Ylli to say good luck. Bro, I feel like shit.
You should have called him before that. Maybe he would have better luck.
I was hurting, bro. My elbows are on fire. This is like after taking 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. It will give me time to sink in. Felt like they were fucking going to explode. The combo racks are also shit, by the way. To be honest,
no, they're not. Let's not talk about that.
I couldn't.
We've talked about it.
I couldn't roll the bar. I couldn't roll the bar on the rack.
So
I'm used to grabbing onto the bar, pushing it, wedging it.
You're also used to having a coat full of combo racks. Where were those?
Yeah. You should have just walked in with a coat, just unloaded the fucking ghost.
This one.
I'm gonna squat on this one.
3 red lights. Idiot. I'm not as me.
But yeah, so typically, I mean, you want to talk about what you eat before meat, like on meat days, to refeed? That's it?
But honestly, if I could, I'd eat pizza.
What if you compete in the morning?
Pizza.
Pizza.
I'm not
I
kidding.
don't
I
care.
bring my
And why
pizza
I say
oven with
pizza
Bring
me.
my
is-
pizza oven.
Why I say pizza? Is
I'll bring
this.
my easy bake oven.
It's a
I'll
two-pronged
make my
attack.
pizza.
Tell me about
One,
it.
body weight.
Yeah.
Pizza gorges you. It fills you up. Second thing also
Never lets you down.
is a shit ton of carbohydrates that are in pizza
And sodium.
and sodium.
And sodium,
See what I mean?
correct.
A three-pronged attack.
That's
Okay.
why I eat Chinese food.
So sodium
See-
helps for bloating.
Noodles.
Carbohydrates to an extent can help for bloating as well, but mostly against glycolytic actions. The other stuff over there, the extra fluff, is actually there for the extra fluff.
My thing
You
is
want to
that
get a little bit chubbier.
I cannot eat heavy before squats. So
Same.
so you know what I'll do is
I
this.
can't eat heavy before deadlifts.
I don't care about what you
My
can.
deadlifts
what
are
you
working on
can.
getting thin.
Nobody cares
Because
about what you can and cannot do. This
Yeah,
is,
basically.
Mateo has the floor.
exactly, I'm talking right now. Okay, so
We should have
typically
a stick,
stick,
like
talking
a
stick.
talking stick.
He's got some thick
I
and
say that
voluptuous
as
eyebrows.
I interrupt Mateo just to say
That's
we
fine,
need a
that's
talking
fine.
stick.
Like I said earlier, this is my last episode here, so it's okay.
He quit.
I quit.
Wait,
But,
he's retiring.
Yes. So typically I'll
He
just
bombed out
have.
of the American Pro.
Thank you, bro.
Oh wait, that never happened. Somebody else did.
Maybe their IVs didn't work. Anyways,
APF Worlds.
but typically like I'll just have like some kind of a electrolyte drink with a shit ton of honey. When I say shit ton of honey, I mean like 1,000 calories worth of honey.
And why isn't it cucumber Gatorade?
Oh yes, it is
The
cucumber.
best. I swear, I don't know what it was at Nationals. I was taking sips of shit before deadlifts. I was like I was beat the fuck up.
I was feeling anabolic.
Bro, I felt like legit, like it was the man of the gods. I was
It-
go, go, go.
Like it feels like it go.
I was like, holy shit! I
It
feel
feels like
restored.
it flows through your whole body.
It's
if that makes
crazy, though,
sense.
isn't it?
It's the flavor.
I've never felt so hydrated as I have been with fucking with cucumber Gatorade. It makes no sense. It's fucking cucumber Gatorade. It sounds revolting, but actually,
I don't
Doesn't
think
sound
Mark.
revolting, to be honest. I'm kind of interested.
it's
Yeah,
delicious.
it's good.
bro.
I'm gonna
works.
try it.
It's
I'm literally gonna go.
100%.
But you can't find it-
and you feel yourself
But you
hydrated.
can't find it anywhere. Honestly, it's like really few places
I'm
have
gonna,
Target
order,
has
I'm gonna order a whole case from Amazon.
I
You should.
literally, I was gonna do that.
And if you don't like it, just pass it over.
I was gonna do that in Miami. I swear to God. And out in when I was in California as well. Like that shit. I was literally considering finding like another suitcase to fill it with.
Cucumber Gatorades.
Cucumber Gatorade.
But yeah, like after squats though, I actually eat an actual meal. Like I actually have pizza right after squats because I want the bloat for bench. And
Yeah,
then
squats and
but then
bench are
after
big.
bench I don't eat anything else because deadlifts I can't be too bloated because then I'm gonna throw up on the platform.
So,
That's fair.
so let's talk about this just for a second here. My
Yes.
general rule of thumb is you want to get fat for squats, as fat as you can tolerate.
No,
No. My general rule of thumb. I don't care
you're
what you
fat
say,
in the
you
first
know.
place, okay?
So you want to get fat for squats, you want to get fat for bench press. Deadlifts, you want to get skinny. My
Yes.
general rule of thumb.
So you
So-
go to the bathroom and vomit. I'm kidding.
I've done this.
Yuli's like, no, I actually done this. It
No,
works."
don't vomit. Go to the bathroom, but don't vomit. You might
Throw up mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, no. So arms are heavy.
They were
Vomit on
heavy
his
already.
sweater already.
Oh man, bro, I was hurting, bro. Holy crap! But no, so you want to get skinny for deadlifts. So why you want to get skinny for deadlifts is because the belt is going to be basically where it's going to be biting into you. It's going to mess up your proportion. It's going to mess up your leverages. You're not going to be able, to grab onto the better position as well as you would otherwise. Thinner, you tend to get into more of an upright torso position. Fatter, the more you have to bowl over, the more pressure there is in your abdomen now. A workaround for this, by the way, this is a major key for people out there listening, is to not brace at the bottom.
Major key.
If you find yourself at the point where basically now your leverages are working against you in a deadlift, I would highly recommend people listening out here to instead brace at the top while you're standing upright. Breathe in, hold that breath, maintain it the entire time, grab onto the bar, and then execute the lift with that brace. You get a fuller, more deeper, better brace.
Unless you're like me, that you take 30 seconds to set up. So by the time you get to the bar, you're probably passed out.
Yeah, you sumo deadlifters are different.
Yeah.
I mean, I brace at the top.
I do.
You're not a sumo deadlifter. Why did you say
When
that?
I was thinner, I didn't have to, but I noticed the difference. Like when I
I
hit
didn't say I was a sumo deadlifter.
Yeah.
So anecdotally, when I hit 700 pounds for the first time on deadlifts as a conventional deadlifter,
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually injured my back that same night in the squats. I was
Mhm.
going for that 660 double. I hurt in the first one. Came down as I was coming up. I felt a pop in my back. I was like, whatever. Let me not make mountains out of molehills at hills. Went to deadlifts, and instead of bracing at the bottom, I thought about what Fernando Arias does, and I braced at the top. and it fucking flew.
Then you try for a second rep.
I tried for a second. My back was hurt. The second one,
The bar was stuck to the floor.
No, it wasn't stuck to the floor. I died at the knees.
But I was gonna say also like for deadlifts, by the time you get the deadlifts, you'll have enough carbs in your system that you're not gonna need any extra food.
You'll have been carb back.
Like if you have like 2,000 calories worth of food,
unless let's be honest, you're caffeined out by that.
Yeah. So that brings us to the next thing. So now the other thing that's taking place, you're talking about like carbs. If the meat is a normal meat, yes. If it's one of those long 10 to 12 hour meats,
true,
you're gonna need to eat again.
True.
Yes. Even if you don't feel like eating, you need to find a way to eat.
Yep.
Whether it's actually like food or whether it comes down to other like like maybe liquid carbs like honey perhaps, which Mateo referenced earlier and whatnot.
Or Uncrustables.
Uncrustables, which is not liquid but they're solid.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I think you might want to have something of that nature. In fact, I'd highly recommend it. It helps out. But tying it to what you said right now, segueing into the next thing, caffeine intake. So I find that if you spike caffeine early, you're going to crash by the end of the meet.
Not if you keep taking caffeine. So just do 8 scoops of pre-workout.
Bro, I used to do that. It actually didn't work. My better meets have been when I've moderated caffeine usage or dosed it properly. And what dosing it properly means, what it entails, from what I've experienced myself and like people I work
Don't say it. I know what you're gonna say. Don't say it.
I do half scoop, 1 scoop, 2 scoops.
Oh, sometimes you say like, I remember like one time you told me to not take any pre-workout for squats, and I just looked at you like, this motherfucker is crazy.
Honestly, out of 3 lifts, like the one I find which responds like a least anecdotally, again, this is like for myself and also my lifters, least to pre-work-out or squats.
I need caffeine for squats. It's the only lift. It's the only lift that if I needed caffeine.
But hear me out. Here's the other thing that ties into this, generally, because I'm not just dealing with one lifter. I'm dealing with many, many lifters here. The other thing that takes place with caffeine is now your anxiety levels go up. Where do people most nervous at a meet before squats? If you're anxious to begin with, and you're adding anxiety to your anxiousness, what's going to happen to your depth? What's going to happen to your positioning?
Well, just tell them to grow up.
No, I think that's fair. I'm sure it could affect some people very negatively, and I'm sure there's there's going to be it's a spectrum, right? Like everybody's going to respond differently. No, but I generally do fine. Like I've historically always hit my 3rd squats, and I always take a decent amount of caffeine beforehand.
Yeah.
What about you?
So what do you do exactly? What's your protocol?
I don't know. I kind of just treat it like any other training day.
So 1 scoop per lift?
No, I usually just
8 scoops per lift.
No.
Yeah.
I usually just take a serving prior to the like warm-ups, squat warm-ups, and then that's pretty much it. I'll have like a monster before deadlifts.
Well, I am a caffeine fiend.
He's also a Zyn fiend.
I am, but yeah.
And apparently also parlay fiend.
No.
Actually, no. On meet day, I will on meet day, I'll either
Mateo is a degenerate.
On meet day, I'll usually have like an energy drink before each lift. Now that I think about it,
okay.
Because I don't usually have pre-workout. I have a pre-workout right now, but it's not something I always have. So I usually just have like an energy drink beforehand. I usually try to get one that's like as high in caffeine as possible. Like some monsters only have like 150. So I either try to get like a Ghost or like a C4
Speaking of
Performance that has like 300 milligrams.
So these energy drink companies like that, their caffeine content may be off by as much as 90%.
Yeah, I think so as well, because when I drink a Monster, I feel like fucking like God. I don't know what it is in that shit, but I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Monsters wake me the fuck up. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It like I'd rather have a Monster than have a fucking Ghost that has like 300 milligrams of caffeine.
That's fair.
I don't know what it is.
I like the Ghosts. I think the Ghosts are good.
It tastes good, but it doesn't wake me up the way that Monster does.
Ghost, C4, 110. Like my pre-workout staples on beat day.
Yeah.
And training in general, to be honest.
Yeah, I usually right now I do have a pre-workout. I bought Wayne Norton's.
He has one?
Yeah, it's Outwork Nutrition.
Outwork.
So yeah, it sounds a little corny.
I know it sounds corny, but it's
who's gonna carry the boats?
I gave it a shot.
And the loads.
Honestly, it's nothing to write home about. It's got 300 milligrams of caffeine.
It's a typical pre-workout.
It's a very typical pre-workout. I'll probably just buy like 110 next time.
But yeah, for me at least, no, I don't think you've ever seen me because like you never handle me on meets because like our schedules don't work out. typically I'll just like a scoop and a quarter before squats.
What's a serving? 1 scoop?
Yeah. A scoop before bench. And then for deadlifts, it just
So the
keep pouring.
The L work is 2 scoops of a serving. I was like, this motherfucker.
No. And then I'll just like and then I'll just like make a double scoop for deadlifts, right? But I try not to finish it. So I'll just have, because I don't want to have too much water, right? So I make the pre-workout really strong and I drink like a little more than half of it. Because like if I make a big ass bottle like with pre-workout, I feel like really bloated for deadlifts.
I like to have a small amount of water with pre-workout as well. The issue, however, though, apparently, is that for caffeine and anhydrous caffeine, which is what it is, to fully synthesize, you need to have a certain amount of water there.
Well, you'll have enough water in your system throughout the whole day, so I don't.
You may have
you'll be sipping water in between lifts.
You should be hydrated.
But caffeine itself needs to be anhydrous caffeine needs to be exposed directly to water. You can't just have water in your body; it needs to be directly exposed to
Are you talking shit about dry scoopers? Is that what you're trying to do right now?
No, I'm not trying. I'm not talking shit about dry scoopers. I'm talking about the actual science behind it. So why dry scooping is not effective. Because you're actually consuming less caffeine because of it.
I think you look kind of silly on the internet doing it.
So,
by the way, but
if memory serves correctly, anhydrous caffeine is metabolically inactive and inert until it's coupled with water. So if you don't have enough water for it to couple to correctly and whatnot, enough H2O and whatnot, that's a whole lot of shit. Which is bouncing around your body, not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's actually just being flushed out of your colon, and it makes the exact same form.
Nice.
So you just shit out pre-workout.
Pretty much. It's a waste.
Nice.
Waste the scoop. So yeah, you need water. There's a certain ratio if you get the actual number is whatnot, but unless you want to consume, unless you talk about like a liquid
turns into a poop scoop.
Poop scoop.
So actually, talking about going back to the whole cutting thing, something I recommend to people. I do myself. If I need to cut a little bit before meet day, I'll take a small, maybe a half a scoop of pre-workout. The kind of stuff that usually gives me the meet day shits.
You want to talk about the story at CNS after this? Finish your.
Okay. I do that. I usually get bubble guts before meet, and I fucking go number 2, and lo and behold, now I'm a little bit lighter, or a lot lighter.
That's usually how that works. Yeah.
Now let's talk about what happened. First CNS I did in Chicago. It was an interesting one, right? So I had to cut a couple pounds of weight. I fucked up completely, so I ended up not eating the day before at all. I didn't drink any water, so I went to the meet, right? And I'm like, I can kind of feel that I'm about to go to the bathroom soon. So you gave me one of those 5-hour energies. Ylli gave me one of those 5-hour energies. He was like, okay, just take this. It's probably going to help you use the bathroom so you can lose the weight before you weigh in. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I take the 5-hour energy. But again, I didn't realize that I hadn't eaten all day, right? So I take it within 15 minutes. I literally start having fucking heart palpitations, and I'm like, "Yo, Ylli, I'm not good, bro. I feel I'm gonna pass out." I was literally about to pass out. He goes, "Okay, sit down, relax, chill out, relax, just sit down, try to eat." Nothing would go down. I was so fucking out of it. I was literally about to pass out, and I was trying to eat my Chipotle, and I was like, "It's not going down, bro. I can't eat. I cannot eat." So then we just, whatever happened. I almost bombed out of the meet. And since that day, I was like, I'm never cutting weight again, ever. Yeah. It was horrible.
You also didn't sleep the night before either.
Yes, I didn't sleep at all.
It goes back
that was when I first time I met you.
You first met me. Yeah. I didn't think you remember it.
That was a rough meet.
You were handling Lance, right?
Yeah.
But
rough meet,
bro. But the thing also was that I had the heat on in the room, right? Because I wanted to sweat myself. So I was like, okay, the meet was at 6 p.m. I think it started. So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll sleep late. I'll sleep 3, 4 in the morning, and then I'll just wake up whenever, right? So I tried to sleep. I kept sweating my ass off. I couldn't drink any water, so I was just sweating all night, trying to fucking.
So for the audience out there, a better strategy is to actually go cold. Cold will allow you to get a deeper sleep.
Yes.
But also, if you're gonna go down that route, cold also allows you to get your body's temperature is gonna essentially body's gonna warm up. As it's warm up, the process of thermogenesis, you're going to burn more calories and you'll be trying to sweat it out.
You're going to burn more calories, but I wanted to
sweat it out.
Sweat it out, yes. I mean, it worked out. I made weight, but I ended up sleeping 2.5 hours maybe. Yeah. So I wake up in the morning. I get up in the morning. We're driving to the venue, and I'm just sitting in the passenger seat, just falling asleep. I'm like, I was like, I fucked up. I was like, it's not gonna be good. It is what it is.
You must have been like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, he was.
I looked over. I was like, oh, I'm a very big externals guy, and seeing that, I was like,
and you know what's the funny thing?
I know what to expect today.
After we weighed in, I was feeling like okay, like I knew the day was not gonna be the best, but I was just like chilling. Ylli was more stressed than I was that day.
Yeah, no, legit.
He was like running around, like he was like, "Yeah, you good." I'm like, "I'm like, chill out, bro. It's okay. It is what it is." Like,
oh wow, the turntables.
And he was so stressed out actually that I got him like on the little
the circle game.
The circle game, yeah.
I've never called with that.
Yeah, he was the first and only time I got him because he was so stressed out.
He actually just called me right now, by the way.
Second time, but so I was like,
twice in 2 years.
I was like, okay, like let's see how I can fucking get this guy to like chill out a little bit. I'm like, yo, can you hold this real quick? And he was like, oh, you fucking asshole. Yeah,
no, I was stressing for him. Like, legit, like nothing else up. But again, the onus responsibility for me is it's very tight. I like to take it on myself. So like him being in that situation, I think is a reflection on me. People say it's not because things happen. I get.
And it was like your first national meet as a coach, right?
No. My first national meet as a coach was the showdown with Max.
Yes.
Yeah, national and international meet in one fell swoop.
Yeah, but Max didn't have the issues that I had, right?
Max had other issues.
Yeah, it's
like a double hernia.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bigger issue.
He was sweating his ass off on meet day because he gave him caffeine.
Oh, so let's talk about caffeine. Let's talk about caffeine. So and also communication at the same time here. So. If you're operating on the assumption that your lifter is on caffeine and you can dose them out with caffeine, like, it's like the most like effective, like, amount, like I think it's 6 milligrams per pound when the case happens to be. And they've never taken pre-workout during the course of training, you may well have fucking caffeine poisoned your lifter. How I know this happens is because I did this to Max. So meet day, apart from the other supplements that he was taking, I decided to give him 600 milligrams of caffeine for the course of the day. And by the time squats hit, the man was fucking shaking. And he was shaking because the vasoconstriction taking place over here. His blood pressure was already through the roof. And his body hadn't been exposed to caffeine of this nature. He hadn't been taken it whatnot. Yeah. And so it trebled the effect.
Oh my god,
bro! I had ice packs on his neck, on his hips, like by his like fucking like like a groin area, his armpits, and all that shit just to cool him off. Bro, he was fucking. I was like, what the fuck?
How did he end up performing?
He ended up hitting an all-time PR. Ended up hitting 21.46 if memory serves correctly between squat, bench, and deadlift. His squats went atrociously. We had some other issues as well. He went for 3 on squats. His squat shoes, he forgot about the hotel. So we had to borrow a pair of squat shoes from JP Rich. Just happened to be roughly the same size.
JP Rich?
Yes.
What the fuck was he doing out there?
That was his meet.
Really?
Yeah, that was his meet. He ran the showdown. So we borrowed a pair of shoes from him. It just happened to fit, but the height was different.
Yeah.
So he hits his first squat. He goes, beats the Reds 2-1. And I didn't want to say anything to him because he gets in his head about things and whatnot. And now, like, I'm sure if you listen to this, Max, in the past, like, he would get into his head about that kind of stuff. I didn't want him to get into his head. So I didn't let him know. I was like, no, let's move on to what you do. You course correct, whatever you need to do. And then the second squat, it was what we call 2-1 the other way. I let him know, and then we tried to course correct, and then in the third squat, just he looked awkward. Like the mixture of like the high dose of caffeine, also because the squashers themselves being a totally different angle as what they're used to, whatnot. He went in and he really went over like a way too deep on squats. Came out, lost his positioning, and bobbled forward. Once because he would have had it, like his like back is
just like I did yesterday,
bro. Like legit, but his back is like fucking the strongest erectors in the game. He would be able to crease it up, but he legit found himself pop forward. So we went 1 for 3 bench press. I think, it's been a while. I don't know whether he went 2. I think he went 2 for 3 on bench press. Had some issues there as well. Whatever. Wasn't the worst thing. He was recovering by that point in time. And by deadlifts, his hernia had acted up again. We hit the second deadlift, and we were going to go 905, which he'd hit before in training. And we decided not to do it because we figured if he did it, and he already was irritating his hernia over here, him having his guts rupture on meet day for a third attempt and to not even win because it wouldn't have cemented the win against Jamal wouldn't have been the move. So let's live to fight another day, and we were ready for the goal.
The other day never came.
Yeah. It's funny. 2 white lights finally decided to put him down as one of the potential winners for the meet, and he just never showed up. It was so good. Oh Lord. man. King of the Lifts reposted his lifts for the first time after that and all that shit after snubbing him for years. You know, and he just never reposted them tagging him and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like King of the Lifts. Should I say this?
You should.
His lame.
It's a corny ass page.
He's so cool.
Because but not even the podcast. The podcast is whatever. It's like they're doing their own thing.
I've never listened to an episode of the podcast.
No,
I'm just talking about the
page.
The dude that runs the page.
It's just corny because like also they got famous just by reposting other people's lifts.
Which is the corniest thing. If that's how you make your internet career and whatnot, by reposting and maybe reactions and shit like that, I think maybe you're a very cringe individual. It shows me that there's an utter lack of creativity there. You're not creative. You're a plagiarizer, ultimately.
Pretty much.
Legit, copy fucking paste, bro. Your cloud is based off other people's cloud. It's corny shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
So not a fan of King Lifts or people who used to do that kind of shit. But yeah, so he was my first national international meet. Caffeine dosing is important.
But be careful.
What I could have did better there was to better communicate with Max and to not have assumed that he was on pre-workout the entire time. The way I was at that point in time, I was taking well over a gram of caffeine per training session.
You're like, well, everybody does this, right?
That was the assumption. I was like, if I'm doing a gram, surely he's doing 600. 6 milligrams.
I get it.
No.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
So we could talk about sleep, but I guess we'll cut it off over here.
I mean, sleep is pretty self-explanatory.
Pretty straightforward.
Just sleep.
You should get your
That's it.
Also, can I just say though, like I really dislike the whole wearing no sleep like a badge of honor. I have these terrible externals.
You know what I hate even more than that?
As somebody who lives that life and doesn't want to live that life, I'd prefer to get my sleep and shit like that. Bro, being proud of the fact you haven't slept is the corniest fucking shit possible.
Yeah.
4 hours sleep.
I hate those people that just like say like, "Oh, 3 hours sleep PR, no breakfast PR." Like, bro, like
yeah, it's like
why are you making it worse for yourself?
Yeah, like why?
Just
you
eat and sleep,
be a good
bro.
Athlete?
Get your rest. Like, why are you working against your
like I know you're like bragging about being not being a good athlete. Like that's
that irritates me almost as much as a person who basically says, I don't. This is a hobby. I'm not going to take it that seriously. Things are going to work out because it's not. Bro, I hate that so much.
Usually those people actually really care about their performance, but they just like they realize that they cannot get to the point they want to get. So they just decide to cope.
Well, it's like they compare themselves to like the best, and then they're like, "Well, I'm not going to be that, so I don't take it that seriously."
Not really. I think it's more about. They have like unrealistic goals set for themselves.
That's the same thing.
No, I mean not even unrealistic. They're probably realistic, but the way that their lifestyle makes it unrealistic.
Yeah, that's fair.
That makes sense. So then they realize like, oh shit, I mean,
statistically speaking, like not everybody can be.
True.
top 3 in their weight class. Like that's true. If everybody could do it, then like it wouldn't be a thing.
So I think fundamentally everybody can do it. What happens is the decisions that we make that lead us or don't lead us to that point, or allow us to get there or not get there. That's what I personally believe. I'm a very big fan of the whole nurture thing as opposed to nature thing. Because
I agree. It's just statistics. It's just that that's the way things deviate.
Not
everybody can be a world champion. Not everybody can be a national champion. Not everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's just not going to play out.
I get it, but if with the right direction, I believe you can make something out of.
If I just work hard enough, I will be a billionaire.
Basically.
It's kind of different. It's kind
of the same.
No, it's different.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like strive to be like the best powerlifter you could be, or have big goals, or like try hard, but like be okay with like if you don't
sucking. Say it.
I don't know. It's just
so I think basically what it comes down to is if you're going to have lofty ambitions, your execution needs to exceed those lofty ambitions. If you're talking about you wanted to get to nationals and you're out there partying every weekend, if you're out there talking to your coach, I don't think I can afford coaching, whatever, and spending $400 or $500 on drinks and shit like that.
I agree with you.
If you're talking about like you wanting to do well at meet and so on and so forth and whatnot, and you're out there doing extracurricular activities, if you're out there playing basketball, like like football, like subjecting yourself to like extra stress and extra like a potential for injury and whatnot, in the mix of this, and things happen to work out, and they just happen to work out and whatnot, you're lucky. but you're also delusional. If you think that's going to fucking maintain itself,
I totally agree with you.
you know.
I totally.
So I think
agree
that's
with
what
you.
it comes down to.
But that's also kind of speaks to like, if you are one of those people, just recognize it, and like you could still compete in powerlifting and enjoy it, and it could be something in your life. It doesn't have to be everything. It doesn't have to be, I want to be the best, you know. It's just those people exist too, and like whatever.
I agree. I agree. I don't know. Personally, I'm just a very competitive person, and when I see talent there, and I see people who don't take advantage of the talent that many other people would do a lot to have, you know, it can be quite frustrating for me to see and to experience, and to be able to reconcile.
I totally agree.
You know. So that is the season finale of the Spot Plug. It's been 18 episodes.
We love you.
And we love you guys.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. Hope the new year finds you guys well. And hope, I guess, your lofty ambitions are met with your execution.
Yeah. We hope you don't start coping.
But if
in
you have a chaotic lifestyle and it's not realistic to put all your energy towards powerlifting, that's okay too.
You can still make it. I live a chaotic lifestyle. You can do it.
You can't. I'm not saying you can't. That's literally what I just said.
He's literally saying you can't.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.